All right, let's start again. On the record in 26 P1660. As a first matter of business, if the people in the back want to sit in these chairs up here, it's easier to see and easier to hear, and it's not a problem. There's plenty of room. You can sit wherever you would like. The structure of this meeting is that I'm Brian Brim, I'm the hearing officer. We'll get testimony and other information from the petitioners. People will have an opportunity to ask questions of that which they testified to. And then there'll be a time at the end if people have general statements to make about the petition in general. Ms. Kennedy, are you ready to proceed? Ms. Henkel, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Ms. Henkel, do you have any exhibits or evidence that you would like me to consider at the start of this hearing?
I do.
And what are those exhibits?
Zoning exhibit number 1 is a copy of the petition for special use that was filed April 15, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 2 is the hearing application binder that was received by the Building and Zoning Department on April 17, 2026. Zoning exhibit 3 is a copy of the hearing agenda that was posted to the county's website and to the bulletin board outside the board chair's office on May 19, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 4 is a copy of the notice of public hearing that was posted at the properties. Zoning exhibit number 5 is an affidavit of posting of the public notice of public hearing. These were posted on May 12, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 6 is a notice to District 2 County Board members. This was emailed on May 5th, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 7 is a notice to county officials, that being Lee County Health Department, Lee County Engineer and Highway Supervisor, and the Lee County Soil and Water Conservation District Office. Those were sent by email on May 8, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 8 is a notice to the township officials, that being Alto Township Supervisor, Alto Township Planning Commission, Alto Township Road Commissioner, Reynolds Township Supervisor, Reynolds Township Planning Commission, and Reynolds Township Highway Supervisor or Highway Commissioner, and those were emailed on April 20th, 2026. A zoning exhibit number 9 is notice to the municipalities with the Planning Commission within 1.5 miles of the petition parcels, that being the city of Rochelle and the village of Stewart. And those were emailed on May 12, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 10 is a copy of the Natural Resources Information Report that was prepared by Lee County Soil and Water Conservation District, and it is dated May 27, 2026. Zoning exhibit number 11 are letters of support that were received by the County Board Chairman's Office. And zoning exhibit number 12 is a copy of the Lee County Comprehensive Plan, Future Land Use Map number 6.
Is there any objection from anyone in entering these exhibits into evidence? Seeing no objections, they are all entered into evidence at this time. Ms. Kennedy, do you have anything to enter at this time?
Yes, I have what I will term a notice booklet. I'm going to mark it as Petitioner's Exhibit A. And I will tender a copy to you, Mr. Hearing Officer, and to Ms. Hinkle.
Thank you.
And for purposes of the record, this notice booklet contains an affidavit of service completed by myself indicating that the notice of public hearing was sent by certified mail to all legal owners of record located adjacent to the boundary lines of the subject properties. I sent those mailings out on April 20th, 2026. Also included in this notice booklet is the notice of public hearing that went out with the participating landowner information, as well as Lee County Zoom and remote access information. I have also included a list of those adjacent property owners to whom the notices were sent to. I have included certificates of publication, one from the Dixon Telegraph, providing that the notice of public hearing was published on April 29th, 2026, and proof of that is included. And then I've also included the certificate of publication from the Rochelle News Leader containing that same notice of public hearing, certifying that that notice of public hearing was published on April 29th, 2026. And then lastly, I have included the certified mailing receipts and green cards, evidencing that those notices did go out.
Any objection into entering petitioner's Exhibit A into evidence? Seeing none, it is entered into evidence. Anything else at this time, Ms. Kennedy?
Just one general housekeeping matter. Looking at the zoning exhibit 10, that is the Natural Resources Information Report dated May 27th, 2026. I was made aware that that NRI report omitted one property. It's a 10-acre parcel under PIN 01-06-08-400-003. I'm requesting at this time on behalf of the petitioner for leave to file an amended or supplemental report that includes that PIN, and I would ask that we be allowed to do so within 10 business days.
That will be without any concern from the hearing officer. So 10 business days from today would be, let's pretend I can count.
Thank you. And I have nothing further at this
That'd be
time.
by June 10th, close of business, June 10th.
You got it.
If you can provide that to Ms. Hinkle and she can provide a copy to me, or you can provide a copy to me and Ms. Hinkle, either way.
Okay.
And I just want to note that the updated report will be posted on the Lee County website and will be made available to the public once it's submitted to me.
Ms. Kennedy, do you have any evidence to present?
I do. First, I'd like to make a brief opening statement.
Please.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Kennedy. I serve as local counsel on behalf of Prairie Brome Solar LLC, the applicant for the Prairie Brome Solar project for tonight's hearing. This application seeks a special use permit for a 180 megawatt commercial solar energy facility proposed to be situated in Alto and Reynolds Township on agricultural land. From the outset, this project has been developed with a focus not only on compliance with the Illinois Counties Code, but also the Lee County Solar Ordinance. And also it's developed by a company who's really focused on being a responsible and long-term member of the Lee County community. Before this application was ever filed, the applicant engaged in multiple outreach efforts to landowners, coordinated with local agencies, and worked with technical consultants to ensure that the project would be designed in a way that respects the surrounding agricultural uses, the existing infrastructure, and environmental features. And it's my position that the application materials reflect that commitment. Through the detailed site plans, the environmental analyses that were performed, the drainage protections, and coordination with local and state agencies. The project itself, as I noted, is a 180 megawatt facility utilizing established solar technology to generate clean energy interconnected to the existing transmission infrastructure in Lee County. It is located on land currently zoned Ag 1 and designed to remain compatible with the surrounding agricultural landscape. Importantly, the applicant has not taken a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, it is committed to ongoing engagement and responsiveness, including coordination with the county, townships, road authorities, local emergency responders, and providing multiple points of contact to ensure accountability throughout the life of the project. The evidence that you will hear tonight will demonstrate 3 key points. First, that the Prairie Brome Solar Project fully complies with the Lee County Solar Ordinance and all applicable regulatory requirements. Second, that the project itself has been designed to avoid and mitigate impacts to the neighboring properties, infrastructure, and environmental resources. And third, that the applicant has demonstrated a strong and continuing commitment to being a cooperative and responsible member of this community. We appreciate the opportunity to present this application and respectfully request your favorable recommendation to the county board. Thank you. And without further ado, I'd like to call Donnie DeCastro.
Please do. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Put your hand
Thank you.
down.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Mr. DeCastro, can you spell your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Donnie DeCastro. Donnie, D-O-N-N-Y, DeCastro, lowercase d-e, space, capital C-A-S-T-R-O.
And Mr. DeCastro, I'm looking up at the computer screen here, and it looks like there is a presentation pulled up on the screen. It reads Lee County Zoning Officer Hearing, Prairie Brome Solar Project, May 27, 2026. Do you see that?
Yes,
And is that in fact a PowerPoint presentation?
yes, it is.
Okay. Did you prepare this?
Yes,
And you're obviously familiar with it?
yes.
At this point, Mr. Hearing Officer, I would like to introduce this PowerPoint into evidence as Petitioner's Exhibit B.
Any objections? Without seeing or hearing any objections, the PowerPoint will be entered as petitioners B.
Thank you. Mr. DeCastro, please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you very much. Attorney Rem, Ms. Henkel, engaged citizens of Lee County, thank you very much for giving us the privilege to speak with you tonight. We are here to start the process to request a special use permit for our 180 megawatt commercial solar energy facility under the name Prairie Brome Solar. Tonight, we will demonstrate GNEX's approach to development, which you will find to be very intentional. We begin by being intentional in our selection of land. We look for land that can most accommodate the types of facilities that we build with the least amount of disturbance. We are intentional with our design. We incorporate the physical landscape into the design of our project, not forcing the land to accommodate us, but accommodating ourselves to the land. And then lastly, we're intentional with our engagement in the community. We take responsibility for being long-term corporate citizens with the project community. We fully intend to be here for the next 40 years, and so we want to make sure that this is a good working relationship. So what will we do tonight? We will go through and introduce everyone to the Prairie Brome Solar Project. You will see that it is compliant with your ordinance in all facets, from screening, road use, decommissioning, all of the requirements that will help build a successful solar project in Lee County. And again, you will get to know GNEX, the team that's going to be that has been working on the project and will continue to work on the project. Next slide, please. So Prairie Brome Solar is a GNEX project. We are an early stage developer. We are an American company. We are based in Charlotte, North Carolina. By early stage developer, we're primarily responsible for siting. So we look for good places to host our projects. We also study the capacity on the transmission lines, which is a principal driver of location in our business. So you have to have the available capacity on the power line to accept our injection of power. Then we look at the people and the ordinance. Can we comply dutifully with the ordinance? And do the people that we will be engaging with for the next 40 years see the benefits of this project? Next slide, please. So we have been a company for 12 years. We are a leading development engine in PJM. We have a success rate that I would put against any other developer in our market. We have a track record that has resulted in 7.9 gigawatts developed since 2012. We have 1.3 gigawatts in operation, others in different phases of construction, permitting. And I think what this really helps to demonstrate is that we execute on a repeatable process. Again, that repeatable process is based on site analysis, finding good sites, signing up the land with fully willing landowners. And then the first thing that we do in a project is engage. Before we start to design, we engage. We make sure that we have listening sessions. Our team first showed up into the project community, not to tell the project community about what we do, but to listen. And that helps to shape everything we do from that stage forward. So, and then obviously ordinance compliant. You can't put the numbers that I've just run through and that you'll see on this slide here through PJM unless you can demonstrably show that you have a process that time and time again in Illinois, in North Carolina, in Ohio, where solar ordinance is very greater than you could even imagine, we still are able to successfully develop our projects within those parameters. Next slide, please. So here you have the team. Again, my name is Donnie DeCastro. I'm the Vice President of Development. Immediately to my left is Adam Szymanski. He is the Director of the Development for the project and the Head Developer of Prairie Brome Solar. Next to him is Wayne DeLong, who is one of our Senior Directors of Development. And we have Anne Marie Williams, who is the Director of External Affairs. And then unfortunately, our Director of Land Development, Joel Stewart, couldn't be here tonight. These are the faces many in your project community know already. And these are the faces that you will continue to see as the project progresses through permitting and beyond. Next slide, please. So why Lee County? Well, as I mentioned earlier, your transmission capacity is quite good. You have the ability to accept increased power on your transmission lines. As evidenced by our application, where you'll see the land documents, we have willing landowners who want to participate. Every person who has signed up for our project has done so willfully of their own rights, and they want to be a part of this project. And then also the existing environmental conditions. The place where we've sited our project is very conducive for solar. We are able to do so at the avoidance of floodplains, even through our project development. As you'll see in our application, we discovered a bald eagle's nest, but we were immediately able to accommodate the requirements to make sure that we're developing a project that's safe for those entities. And again, it's the repeatable process of finding an ordinance and making it work within the community. There's been no shortage of headlines in America today about the growing demand for power. Data centers, artificial intelligence, for the first time in 40 or 50 years, we're going to see, we are experiencing a sincere spike in the need for energy in this country. We are the type of developers that believe in all forms need to be playing a role. For us, this becomes a national security issue to some extent, in that we believe providing diversified, distributed sources of electricity generation makes our country stronger, and it makes our country safer. As that applies locally, this assures some level of pricing structure for your electricity prices. The more power that's available in your area helps to control the rate of pricing in that area. With that, I will turn it over to Adam Szymanski, the Director of Development for the project, to handle the rest of the presentation. I really appreciate it for your time. Thanks. Yes.
I'm bad at that. Sorry. Ms. Kennedy, do you want questions at the end of the presentation? I forgot to ask you that question.
Yeah, that would be my preference, yes.
Okay.
Thank
then
you.
We will hold all questions until the end. Can you raise your hand also? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm going to have him spell his last name for the record.
My name is Adam Szymanski, Adam, A-D-A-M, Szymanski, C-Z-A-M-A-N-S-K-E. As Donnie introduced me before, I am the Director of Development for Prairie Brome Solar and the Director of Development for our projects here in Illinois. I live in DuPage County, also in Northern Illinois, just a few counties over. And I'm here to share the second portion of our presentation and talk about a few project details for Prairie Brome. So Prairie Brome is just over 1,800 acres. It is located northwest of the village of Stewart. Oh, next slide, please. So Prairie Brome Solar, as Attorney Kennedy had mentioned previously, is located in Alto and Reynolds Townships. It is located northwest of the village of Stewart and south of the city of Rochelle. It is bound by the east, the Stewart Road. It's where our point of interconnection is, the yellow square that's noted on the site plan on the screen above the room here. It is bound by the west by State Route 251, by the south at Perry Road, and split east to west down the middle of the project of Elva Road. So the project area is approximately 1,816 acres. The buildable area in that footprint is approximately 1,524 acres. The fenced area being 1,502 acres. The module quantity that we have estimated here in the site plan behind you is 347,000 with 60 inverters and an estimated ground coverage ratio of 34%. Next slide, please. Here we have a screenshot of one of the pages from our landscape plan, which you can find in Appendix L, starting on page 824 in a project narrative. This is of some of the non-participating occupied structures south of the project on Perry Road. I just feel this is a very good example because you can see the vegetative screening that is installed north of Perry Road and perimeter of the project boundary. It notes several of the different setbacks that we have incorporated into our project. The bald eagle's nest is not noted on this screenshot, but you can see the 150 feet for both occupied buildings and dwellings, non-participating occupied structures, and the 50 feet from the public right-of-way, public road right-of-way, and non-participating property lines. The landscape plan includes a wildflower prairie grass pollinator mix. All development in North America over an acre requires full stabilization. So this project will be fully stabilized with that seed mix. The trees that you see noted in the visual screening on the north side of Perry Road here, we have estimated install at 5 to 6 feet. I believe the minimum ordinance requirement is 3 feet. So a caveat of that ordinance that we have here is that all the visual screening must reach 8 feet in height by year 5 of the project. And the developer is required to replace and reinstall any portion of the visual screening that does not meet that particular height at that time frame. One other thing I don't have noted here in this presentation, but what I think is very important to talk about in combination of both the AIMA, the Agricultural Impact Mitigation Agreement, which we will discuss here in a little bit, and also the Illinois Siting Bill, is that these adjacent property owners, these neighbors of the project actually have some optionality and a say in what this landscape screening looks like. And there's a few different options here, and we're required to have these agreements in place before our building permit is approved. So we will have conversations with each adjacent landowner. They will have a say, essentially. Oh, lost it. Thank you. The landowners will have a say in us essentially installing this visual screening on our side of the property line, or taking the dollar amount for that installation, maintenance, labor cost, the whole 9 yards for us to install that visual screening and install that screening on their side of the property if and as to the length of their desire. So they can, in theory, take a third option and take the check for that installation, maintenance, and labor of that visual screening install a few arborvitae, install their preferred visual screening, or install nothing at all. That requirement that we're held to as developers is quite unique, and it's not something that we find many places outside of the state of Illinois. Next slide, please. We'll just talk about the general construction timeline for a project of this scale. So we're targeting to start construction in late 2028, and the estimated timeline for construction overall from start to beginning is 18 to 24 months. We've got it broken up into a few different segments here, starting in pre-construction and site prep, civil work, and ending in testing and final completion of the project itself. Of course, all construction will comply with local noise and work hour regulations. Next slide, please. We're going to talk a little bit about the ongoing maintenance during operations of the project and then decommissioning and land restoration of said project. So Prairie Brome Solar will have 24/7 remote monitoring, routine inspections with scheduled on-site maintenance, and that includes the maintenance of the vegetation on the site. So we're required to mitigate and handle all noxious weeds. We have a standard set for the seed mix here in the state of Illinois and Lee County, and we're required to hold to all of those requirements moving forward. And for the decommissioning and land restoration of the project itself, we will get into this a little bit more into the agriculture impact mitigation agreement. We have a separate slide for that. But essentially, the project will be fully decommissioned and the land restored to its original state at the end of the project. My talk path that I like to use is that you could take a snapshot in your head, quite literally take snapshots with a photograph and a camera, and we are required to return the land to its original state after the project is completed. That includes all infrastructure, material removal, the repair and of compaction and rutting from construction, from ongoing operations, preservation of topsoil, the whole 9 yards. So that land is restored to its original agricultural condition. We are required to be mindful of the drainage systems, the existing farm tiles, protect them, avoid them, repair them if we do accidentally damage one, and meet the standard repair requirements for those underground drain tiles. We had civil and environmental consultants incorporated out of Naperville, Illinois, complete a decommissioning report, as well as a long list of other studies and reports here that we'll talk about today. And they put the estimated cost of that decommissioning at $15.5 million. So another requirement that we have here in the state of Illinois in combination with county, state, and AMA is the posting of a surety bond and financial surety that we will be able to fully remove and decommission this project. So that covers full decommissioning, restoration, and removal of all the infrastructure in place. And the timeline for that financial surety is 10% at year 1, 50% at year 5, and 100% at year 10. Next slide, please. This is a list of some of the field studies and reports that we have completed in order for Prairie Brome Solar to be compliant here in Lee County. It is not a full comprehensive list. It is just some of the key reports and takeaways that some we will highlight a little bit further here today. Next slide, please. Okay, as we talked about a few different times in previous slides, I want to just highlight again the Agriculture Impact Mitigation Agreement. AMA, as it's known, is an agreement in place between the developers, the landowners in each individual parcel, and the Illinois Department of Agriculture. It holds developers to construction and deconstruction standards, ensuring that the land within the project is restored to its pre-construction capabilities. So we spoke about a few of the requirements that developers are held to, but again, it's the removal of all project infrastructure, the preservation of the topsoil. We know how valuable that is here in Northern Illinois, prevention of soil erosion, the repair of compaction and rutting, weed and vegetation control, and we spoke about the financial assurance for the deconstruction plan in place. We are required to complete that deconstruction within 12 months of the project's lifetime completion. This can be found in Appendix H of our narrative. Next slide, please. Just wanted to highlight a few of the environmental studies that we have completed through civil and environmental consultants out of Naperville. As Donnie had mentioned, we had identified an active bald eagle's nest in the tree line of Stewart Creek. So the Illinois Department of Natural Resources uses an EcoCat tool, ecological compliance assessment tool, to determine threatened and endangered species. They had confirmed that no Illinois state listed species or protected natural areas are in place here. Through subsequent field investigations, our team had identified an active bald eagle's nest. Bald eagles are federally protected, but surprisingly enough, they are not state listed here in Illinois. So the Illinois Department of Natural Resource, they defer to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service for guidance there. And we've received confirmation from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources that no additional state recommendations apply. Granted and provided we follow the federal guidelines. This can be found in Appendix J of the narrative. Next slide, please. These two are kind of tied together because one leads to the other, but this, essentially summarizes our interaction and communication with the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. They use an IPAC tool, an information and planning and consultation tool, and their recommendation to us with the confirmation of the active bald eagle's nest in the tree line of Stewart was a 660-foot buffer fully surrounding. As Donnie mentioned, we take a lot of pride in thoughtfully taking consideration into the way that we design the layouts of these projects and setbacks, and this is no different. No construction activity will occur within this area, this 660-foot buffer within the breeding season. That breeding season is New Year's Eve through the end of July. Prairie Brum Solar remains in full compliance with both the EcoCat review conclusions and the United States Fish and Wildlife Service recommendations. And all federal level bald eagle protections are incorporated into the layout and the timing of construction. And these studies can be found in Appendix P and Q of the narrative. Next slide, please. Wetland delineation. The wetlands report is another that we had completed with CEC out of Naperville. The goal of this report is to simply identify, delineate, and classify the wetlands, streams, and other bodies of water here in the project area. We were able to identify 17 wetlands, 2 streams, and 15 ditches. The United States Army Corps will be required to verify this report prior to construction, and we have fully designed and located Prairie Brum's infrastructure to avoid these environmentally sensitive areas. This can be found in Appendix K of the narrative. Next slide, please. Okay, I want to take a bit more time here to go through some of the hearing factors one by one and how we plan to address them. So number one, the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the commercial solar energy facility will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. Construction best industry practices will be deployed for the project. All electrical components of the project will be new and tested by the appropriate listing authority, and proven industry accepted standards will be followed during all phases of the project. Number two, the commercial solar energy facility will not be injurious to the uses and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property values of surrounding properties. The project is designed with setbacks, screening, and noise compliance to protect neighbors and in compliance with these ordinances. Two, a property evaluation report was prepared for the project and its results indicate no negative impact to surrounding property values. And multiple industry studies performed for the project found no significant noise or operational impacts to the project community. Three, the establishment of the commercial solar energy facility will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties. Ordinance mandated setbacks will be followed, eliminating infringement on neighboring land. Utility scale solar projects are quiet neighbors, adding significant financial value to the project community with little to no consumption on local community infrastructure. Number four, adequate public utilities, access roads, drainage, and/or necessary facilities have been or will be provided. The project will facilitate and finance all necessary infrastructure for the safe operation of the project. Stormwater, drainage, and infrastructure improvements ensure a safe and effective site. Next slide, please. Just a few more here. 5, adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress so designated as to minimize traffic congestion to public streets. We have completed a traffic impact analysis, and a future road use agreement memorializes traffic patterns and guaranteed road maintenance if needed. 6, the proposed commercial solar energy facility is not contrary to the objectives of the current comprehensive plan of the county. Temporary project that preserves farmland and maintains community character through thoughtful screening. Again, we talked about some of the height requirements that Lee County has put in place for the visual screenings that we'll have in this project. The project will produce low-cost energy, promoting development in the surrounding community and enterprise zone. We've had several commercial developers reach out to us regarding the Lee Ogle Enterprise Zone and our proximity to that area, specifically our point of interconnection. 7, the commercial solar energy facility shall, in all other respects, conform to applicable regulations of this ordinance in the zoning district in which it is located, except as such regulations may, in each instance, be modified pursuant to the recommendations of and approved by the county board. Prairie Brome meets or exceeds all county ordinance requirements, including setbacks, noise, and environmental protections. All required studies and plans have been completed and submitted with results within ordinance-defined values. And finally, 7, subpoint A, special use permit conditions and restrictions. The county board may stipulate conditions, guarantees, and restrictions upon the establishment, location, construction, maintenance, and operation of the commercial solar energy facility as are deemed necessary for the protection of the public interest and to secure compliance with the standards and requirements of this ordinance. The developer commits to decommissioning road protections, agricultural mitigation, and ongoing reporting. The project will operate under county oversight with enforceable safeguards. And finally, the project commits to working with the county board to satisfy any potential stipulations. Next slide, please. So as you can imagine, the economic impact of a project like this is quite significant, especially in direct comparison to monoculture ag. So we had a third party complete an economic impact analysis for Prairie Brome Solar. Really just construction, in every phase of this project, we see quite a bit of money coming into Lee County and the Village of Stewart area. So as we mentioned, the typical solar project construction timeline is 18 to 24 months. We expect that 20 to 40% of all spending will remain in this area. We put that total spending during construction at $48.1 million and total wages during construction at $22 million. Next slide, please. So as Donnie mentioned, one of the big reasons that we are here, right, is our landowners and our interested landowners. The number one reason that we have landowners reach out to us and ask to join our projects or ask our engineering and interconnection teams to evaluate their parcels is to keep the family farm in the family for generations to come. It's something that we take a lot of pride in. Our landowners here in Lee County live on the project footprint or within eyeshot of the project footprint. That is a unique factor and something that does not happen in elsewhere in the country. These projects are predictable long-term economic investments into the project community. We have a few different numbers in here that highlight some of the takeaways from our economic impact analysis, but we have $2.2 million expected in annual land rent payments to local Lee County residents. $3.3 million annual total spend out and $224 annually in local wages. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, I'm an Illinois resident myself. I know we have many behind us in the room. We all know the majority of our property taxes go to education. We have a pie chart here that shows the estimated distribution of Prairie Brome Solar and the different tax beneficiaries We have the estimate of local tax revenue at $25.2 million, with 35% of that going to Stewart Elementary School and 31.6% of that going to Rochelle High School. Next slide, please. Well, thank you very much, Officer Brim, and everybody here for your time this evening. I'm going to now hand it off to my project colleague, Ms. Anne-Marie Williams.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you state your name and spell your first and last name for the record, please?
Anne Williams, ANNEWILLIAMS.
What do I need to know?
Well, thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight and for listening through all those project details. My name is Anne Williams. I work for GENIX as the External Affairs Director for Prairie Brome Solar. And I live just a few counties east of here in Porter County, Indiana. And I'm really proud of the work our team has done in the last couple of years in Lee County and how we've engaged with the community. But before I talk about our project or our process, I just want to say a few words about this place, Lee County. It's very nice to see so many familiar faces in the room. During my 2.5 years here, what have I experienced is truly rare. Earlier in this month, I was at the United Way campaign celebration luncheon, and I was just reminded again of how very special and unique Lee County is. It is a place that people not only live, but they show up for one another, and they give very generously of their time and their talent and their treasure. And so it's been a real pleasure for our team to work here over the last 2.5 years, and they've really given us a sense of belonging. So I just wanted to say that on the record. Our approach to this project has been really simple from the beginning. Donnie mentioned it. We started out on a listening tour. So we came to town and we listened to community leaders and elected officials, local nonprofits, businesses, and residents. We met with the United Way of Lee County, the Lee County Industrial Development Association, public safety officials, county elected officials. We joined Discover Dixon and became part of the chamber. We regularly attended Village of Stewart monthly meetings and county board meetings. And through all of that listening, we learned what really matters to the folks of Lee County. We incorporated that into our project. We've also worked to demonstrate that we value communication and transparency. So in addition to volunteering and attending and supporting so many local events, we also opened an office just a couple blocks over on First Street. In March, we hosted our second community open house at Stewart Elementary School, which gave us the opportunity to answer any concerns from the neighbors or the greater community. We launched a monthly coffee and conversation series at our favorite spot, Coffee Crush. So that gave elected officials and the community just a very informal, regular place to ask us questions and stay informed and give us their feedback. Over the last 2.5 years, we've hosted lunch and learns, we've spoken at the Rotary, we've tabled at community events, we've mailed quarterly newsletters, we've kept up direct communication with our landowners and the neighbors. We're very proud of something that hasn't been mentioned yet this evening, which is our community grant program. Our community grant program provides ongoing quarterly funding for organizations that serve Lee County. So to date, we have been honored to support over 30 organizations in Lee County with over $75,000. Through this program, we've invested in things that meet everyday basic needs. We've helped families in tough times. We've supported the schools and the arts and public places. And all of these gifts are just a way of investing in that community that I said was so special before. We also introduced our Solar Utility Neighbor Initiative, SUN Initiative for short. So the SUN Initiative will provide every resident of the Village of Stewart a $50 electric bill credit for the first 5 years of the operation of the project. So that is a way that we can ensure that the people that live the closest to the project share in its value. So what does all this mean for Prairie Brome Solar? It means that this project was shaped by the community that lives here, and that we're very committed to not just building a solar project, but by being a responsible, respectful, long-term good neighbor. And I am done.
Thank you very much. Ms. Kennedy?
Thank you. I have just a few follow-up questions for Mr. DeCastro. What is the relationship between GeneX and Prairie Brome Solar LLC?
Prairie Brome Solar LLC is a project company LLC, and it is wholly owned by GeneX.
And I'm going to direct your attention, I believe it was entered as zoning officer exhibit number 2, but it's this big thick binder right here. Are you familiar with that?
Yes,
Okay. And is it a fair summary that it's a project narrative and all the project reports and materials?
that's correct.
And did you help in assembling that?
I did.
Okay. And I'm going to call it the application binder.
Mhm.
So did you include the potential equipment manufacturers as Appendix B in this project binder?
We did. We would like to note that they are potential vendors.
Okay. And did you indicate the types of solar panels, cells, and modules in these project materials?
We did.
Tell me about the maximum height of the solar panels at full tilt.
With our initial design, 10 feet would be the maximum height.
Okay. And is it true there's only one substation with this project?
Yes, that's correct.
And the ordinance requires you to provide a project site plan. Did you include that as Appendix C?
We did.
And did you provide all property owners and documentation demonstrating land ownership or what I would term site control of the properties as Appendix A and Appendix E in these project materials?
Yes,
And is the planned location of the solar panels depicted in Appendices C and L in the project materials?
it is.
Did you provide the legal descriptions for each parcel in these project materials?
We did.
And are those included as Appendix E?
They are.
Did you note the location of participating and non-participating residences in these project materials?
We did.
Is that contained in Appendix L?
It is.
And does Appendix L also contain the location of any occupied community buildings?
It does.
What about the location of parcel boundary lines?
It does as well.
And did you identify adjoining properties in Appendix L?
We did.
Did you show the setbacks in Appendix L?
We did.
What about public access roads?
We did.
Is this substation noted on Appendix L?
It is.
What about the operations and maintenance building?
Yes.
That's also provided in Appendix L. What about the location of electrical cabling to the substation?
Yes.
Do you have ancillary equipment noted on the site plans?
We do in Appendix L and C.
Thank you. What about third-party transmission lines?
Yes.
Okay, and that's also included in Appendix L?
Yes, ma'am.
Are the wetlands, any wetlands shown on Appendix L?
We have the wetland delineation report. That's located, a water delineation report in Appendix K.
Thank you.
Yep.
What about drainage structures, surface ditches, and subsurface drainage lines? Are those shown in Appendix L?
We would consult with our environmental consultant for that.
Sure.
Andy, could you come forward?
Are there any underground mines in this project
No.
site? Thank you. What about the locations of any scenic and natural areas within 1,500 feet of the proposed facility?
That's in the landscape plan,
Sure, and that's included as Appendix L.
Appendix L, yep.
And I believe Mr. Samansky referenced the decommissioning plan, but for the record's sake, is that included as Appendix D in the project materials?
It is.
What about the topographic map for the site itself? Is that included in Appendix L?
It is.
And did you, on behalf of the applicant, prepare a stormwater management plan?
We did.
And is that included as Appendix I in the project materials?
It is.
And was that, I'm going to call it a preliminary plan at this stage, but was that approved by the Lee County engineer?
He did verify that and spoke with Andy. Yes.
And he would be Dave Anderson, the Lee
Dave
County?
Anderson, correct.
Yep, the Lee County engineer. Perfect. Tell me about the fence for this project.
The fence is 6 feet and opaque and would be used wherever the natural landscape and landscape buffers would not provide.
And I know that the visual screening was testified to, and that's contained, the visual screening is contained in the landscape plan, also known as Appendix L. Was that prepared by an Illinois registered architect?
It was.
Will any lighting associated with this project be shielded and downcast?
All of it.
Perfect. Will power lines be buried underground for this project?
They will.
And jumping back to the fence, the Lee County Solar Ordinance requires certain warning signs be posted on that fence. Are you aware of that requirement?
Yes,
And on behalf of the applicant, do you commit to displaying the required warning signage on the
I-
fence?
we do.
Perfect. Do you commit to placing flags, plastic sleeves, reflectors or tape at all guy wires and along guy wires up to 15 feet in height?
We do.
Thank you. And on behalf of the applicant, do you commit to entering into a road use agreement with the county and township officials?
Prior to the building permit, we do.
Thank you. Do you commit to providing or to depositing $100,000 or as adjusted by the Lee County engineer into the county's consulting fund?
We do.
And I know a noise study was referenced in the PowerPoint presentation. Was the noise study provided as Appendix N as in Nancy?
Yes,
Will there be any outdoor storage of materials, vehicles, or equipment with this, with the construction process of this project?
outdoor storage as far as vehicles,
Yes,
I would have to consult our
Sure.
plan.
sure. And I guess what I'm looking for, let me back up.
Yes.
Do you commit that only the outdoor storage of materials, vehicles, and equipment that directly support the
Uh,
operation and maintenance of
yes.
the facility will be
I'm
used?
sorry, I misunderstood your question. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
And the Lee County Solar Ordinance contains certain construction hour restrictions. Do you commit on behalf of the applicant to follow the construction hours of no earlier than 7 a.m. and no later than 8 p.m. within a quarter mile of non-participating residences unless a waiver is obtained?
We do.
And the Lee County Solar Ordinance also requires you to provide annual reporting with the Lee County Zoning Administrator. Are you familiar with that requirement?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you commit to abide by that requirement?
We do.
Now, that same ordinance requires you to coordinate with the local fire protection districts with your site plan, your standard operating procedures, and your standard operating guidelines. Are you familiar with that requirement?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you commit on behalf of the applicant to adhering to that requirement?
We do.
And in furtherance of that, do you commit to training the local fire departments and first responders?
We do.
Did you have the occasion to prepare a preliminary emergency response plan?
We did.
And is that included as Appendix O in the project materials?
It is.
And on behalf of the applicant, do you commit that all hazardous waste materials will be handled, stored, transported, and disposed of in accordance with local, state, and federal laws?
Yes.
And do you commit on behalf of the applicant to comply with the existing septic and well regulations as set forth by the Lee County Health Department?
Yes.
And do you commit to maintaining points of contact for this project with the appropriate county officials?
Yes.
And you will also provide 2 backup points of contact as well?
We will.
And jumping back to that fence again and the signage on the fence, do you commit on behalf of the applicant to providing the 911 address and a 24-hour contact number?
We do.
Now, the ordinance contains various insurance requirements of the applicant. Do you commit to carrying the liability insurance as set forth by the ordinance?
Prior to the building permit, we do. Yes.
Perfect. And do you commit on behalf of the applicant to maintain the visual screening in good condition throughout the life of the project?
We do.
And prior to tonight's hearing, did you, on behalf of the applicant, submit 12 copies of your special use permit application to the Lee County Zoning Office?
We did.
And did you also provide one copy in electronic format?
We did.
And did you pay the petition fee to the county for tonight's hearing?
We did.
And is proof of that payment contained in the project materials?
It is.
And do you commit on behalf of the applicant to abide by and follow all recommendations from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources?
Yes.
What about the United States Fish and Wildlife Service?
Yes. I would like to circle back and say that all of the drainage structures, the surface ditches and drainage lines, those are included in Appendix L.
Thank you.
Yep.
Jumping back to that fencing, the ordinance requires that the security fencing for the project, that it have a minimum height of 6 feet. Are you aware of that requirement?
Yes.
And you also understand that at the request of a non-participating resident, an 8-foot high woven wire fence may be substituted?
Yep.
And you agree to provide that 8-foot woven wire fence at the request of any non-participating residents?
We do.
Perfect. Do you believe that the noise levels, if any, emanated from this project comply with the Illinois Pollution Control Board?
Absolutely.
And what do you base that on?
Based on a preliminary noise study that we had performed.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
As my project team has mentioned, we've been in this project community for 2.5 years. Not only do we care deeply about this project, we care deeply about the people that we've encountered here. And we would like very much to build this project for this community, and we will do a good job.
I have nothing further.
Ms. Kennedy, there was an outstanding issue, and I believe it was cleared up with the drain tiles and ditches.
That
That was
is
the only
correct.
outstanding question. Okay.
Nope, that is correct. Thank you.
Ms. Henkel, do you have any questions of these witnesses?
So a number of these parcels are located in the floodplain. How does that impact the project?
The floodplain does exist on some
I'm
of the,
Going to apologize. If you could just
So-
state your name
sorry.
again, just because we, I believe, are only creating an electronic recording at this time. I apologize.
I appreciate that comment, Attorney Brim. I should have remembered, sorry. Donnie D. Castro, while some of the parcels exist in a floodplain, none of the project infrastructure exists in that 100-year floodplain.
You referenced a traffic impact analysis and an economic, you didn't, I'm sorry. It was referenced during the presentation that there is a traffic impact analysis and an economic impact analysis. Were those included in the application binder?
The traffic impact analysis was the economic impact. The economic impact analysis was not included in the binder, but we'd be happy to provide it if that's helpful.
You referenced the initiative for the residents of the Village of Stewart. What was that called?
Anne Marie Williams. It's called the Solar Utility Neighbors Initiative, or SUN for short. It's distributed by the Dollar Energy Fund, so it's a separate nonprofit entity. It is already up and running, so we could provide the website for you. It is voluntary. So a resident of Stewart would have to opt into it by providing their account number. They do not have to be an owner. It simply goes by the meter. But we have budgeted for the entire village.
Is that limited to just within inside city limits? How are you determining who gets that and who doesn't?
Ski. So Alice, we budgeted everyone within the village city limits and then every single neighbor fully surrounding the project footprint.
I have nothing further.
Thank you. Does anybody in the audience have any questions based on the information that was presented so far here today? If you could step to the microphone and state your name.
I mean, are they questions or just things we have to say?
This is question time. Things you have to say is later time.
Oh, okay. I think,
Later time.
yeah, I'll have to wait.
It's a very technical legal term, later time is. All right. Seeing no questions at this time, are there questions from the viewers on the internet?
I have a question.
Can you state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Kathy Eister. I live in Missoula, Montana. I own the westernmost portion of the land directly across Perry Road from this project.
Ms. Eister, I'm going to ask you to spell your name, please.
Yes, Eyster. That's Kathy with a K.
I'm not hearing anything if you're asking your question yet.
Oh, no, I was waiting for
Okay.
people to write down that spelling. My question is related to the buffer zone for the eagle nest. I'm happy to hear about the hiatus of construction during the eagle breeding season. My question is related to how, if any studies were done regarding the noise levels during construction, whether that hiatus is just within that buffer zone for the eagle's nest, or whether that means that construction would not take place during that 6-month period.
Ms. Heister, thank you very much for your question. Adam Szymanski. Ms. Heister, thank you very much for your question. So we will be required there will be zero construction during the within the 660-foot buffer zone at any point in time during the breeding season. I hope that answers the question. So the construction can continue outside of the 660-foot buffer zone, but not within the 660-foot buffer zone during the breeding season, those 7 months.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. My concern is that the construction noise will be detrimental to the ongoing breeding of the pair of eagles in that nest. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from viewers on the internet?
Hello,
Can you tell us your name, please?
my name is Charlene Boudreau,
Can you spell that?
Charleen. Last name Boudreau, B as in boy, O-U, D as in dog, R-E-A-U.
And what is your question?
Okay, I have a couple of questions. First of all, is the report with all the appendices going to be available to the public online?
Alice Hinkle, Lee County Zoning Administrator. It is currently available online. If you can contact my office, I can assist you in locating that.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't look for it yet. Okay, my other question is about fencing. Is the entire development going to be surrounded by fence?
Donnie DeCastro. Charlene, thank you very much for your question. Yes, the entire facility itself will be surrounded by fence.
Okay. And then one more question. you mentioned prairie planting for landscaping. Is that just in the visual area, like visual screen areas, or is that under all of the panels? In other
Adam
words,
Szymanski. Sorry, continue. Go ahead.
what plants are going to be growing under the panels? Is it grass, prairie, and how will that be maintained?
It will be a tall grass prairie mix and wildflower pollinator mix that Illinois requires us to seed for these types of projects. And it won't just be in the visual screening area, it will be the full project footprint.
So tall grass prairie plants can be up to 8 feet tall. Will that not shade some of the panel?
There are mixes of prairie brome and wildflowers that are significantly shorter that we can use that are approved here in Illinois. I believe the mix that we have in our landscape plan comes from Pizzo, and we can have our environmental SME speak more to it, but it's specifically designed to omit those tallest growing plants.
Okay.
And I'll hop in here, Donna DeCastro. There will also be maintenance throughout on the grounds throughout the facility, obviously, to limit the height of plants. We don't want plants growing over the edge and cutting the production of the solar panels. So there is maintenance on the wildflower mix throughout the life of the project.
And what does that maintenance consist of?
That hasn't been determined at that time, but we would look to employ a various number of uses from mowing into perhaps investigating agrovoltaics, but that has not yet been determined.
Okay, there's I live near Peoria, Illinois, and there's some folks here who raise sheep, and they are contracting with solar panel projects to come in and eat away the vegetation that's too tall.
We have worked, Donna DeCastro, we have worked with very similar service providers in some of our other projects.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the internet? Let me finish this and then we'll come back to you. All right, I don't see anybody else. Can you come to the microphone there? And state your name and spell your first and last name.
My name is Doug Tarvestad, Tarvestad. I live on Perry Road, right across from this said project. What I do have a question is because I can't figure out, and maybe I'm not good at numbers, at what capacity do solar farms produce power? Is it 20, 30, 50, 60, 100? What capacity do we produce power at? A project like this.
Donna DeCastro, Doug, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Hey, Donnie.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for the question. I'm not sure I'm understanding your question.
You know, a nuclear plant produces, say, 90% power. We got a lot of nuclear plants in Illinois, and we sell power to other states because 53% of that is nuclear plants. So when you put in a large scale operation like this, we need sun. And due to calculations last year, I mean, you guys are from North Carolina, your weather might be different. We only had 93 sunny days in Northern Illinois. 174 of them were partly cloudy. 126 of them were overcast. So how much power do these generate?
I think I understand your question. I think a principal component of that is the input. So with
Yeah.
nuclear, your input is nuclear fuel.
No,
Here, ours is
You know,
sunlight.
no, the solar, your
Right.
your project, how much power will you generate on, say, January,
I'm going to ask
where
that he,
no sun shines?
I'm going to ask that he let him finish answering the question.
Yeah, sure.
Solar panels are typically between 20 and 30% efficient.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's a great deal of information tracking the solar irradiance for the United States.
Mhm.
All of the lower continental 48 states make enough, have enough solar irradiance for solar to be effective. If you look to Europe, Germany is the #1 producer of solar energy in all of Europe. Germany's latitude is north of Minnesota. So there is plenty of sunlight. That is a common idea. But if you look at NREL on a solar irradiance chart, you will see that all of the United States receives plenty of solar irradiance for solar to be effective.
At 30 and 20% or 19%?
Yep.
It's funny that you say that. You know what a Hinterwalder is?
I'm not familiar with that.
That's a German hillbilly, and
Mhm.
you're talking to one.
Uh-huh.
And we have cousins that live in Germany, and we know the trials and tribulations that they
Is
face.
there a question in there?
Well, you know, I'm just
You'll have an
going, hey,
you'll have an opportunity.
really?
You'll have an opportunity.
Once again.
Let me finish, please.
Yes, sir.
You'll have an opportunity to speak later if you want to
Yeah,
give your opinion
well-
on this. But again, this is time for questions.
Yeah, well, the question is, if these only operate at 30%, how do you make any money on 30%? Is it tax credits?
Well, as we well know, tax credits are coming to a cliff,
Mhm.
right? You still see solar projects getting built.
Yeah.
Okay. So fossil fuels have been receiving tax credits for over a century. And so, yes, do they help a project get built? But absolutely, projects pencil financially without the ITC. That's why we're continuing to build them. Solar is the cheapest, fastest way to produce electricity.
Yep.
Yep.
In our state.
In the world.
Oh, our state
No,
especially.
in the world.
Yep. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It is.
All right, that's one question that I have.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question?
Hello?
Just a minute, ma'am. We have somebody in the courtroom that's going to ask a question first, and then I'll come back to you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, hearing officer. My name is Ryan Rod, Ryanrod. I have a question. Was there a glare analysis done with the Rochelle Municipal Airport?
Adam Samansky. Thank you, Mr. Rod. Yes, sir, there was.
Okay, thank you.
And then what was the question on the internet?
Hi, it's Charlene Boudreau again. My question is regarding, you guys say you're going to be here for 40 years. We have all seen mergers and acquisitions happening throughout the economy. And I'm just wondering what happens, what kind of provisions will be in any of your contracts regarding if your company goes bankrupt, is sold off to another company, or other things that may happen on the corporate side. What happens to the neighbors, the landowner, their rental contracts, et cetera?
Donnie DeCastro. Charlene, thank you for the question. All of the contracts for this project are executed with Prairie Brome Solar LLC, which is the project company entity. So if this company or if this project were to be sold to another company, they would buy controlling interest in that LLC. So all contracts and leases would remain viable. With respect to the bankruptcy issue, that's where the decommissioning plan comes into play, where the financial assurity to clean up the project is in place to make sure that if anything like that were to happen, the funding would be available to clean the project, regardless if whoever was owning the project would go out of business.
Okay, and that decommissioning fund will be fully funded after 10 years after the project is commissioned, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Are there other questions? And Ms. Kennedy, do you have any other witnesses or any other evidence? Ms. Henkel, do you have any other evidence or any witnesses?
I have no witnesses. I do want to comment, though, on what happens to a project if it transfers owner or goes bankrupt.
Please do.
Do I need to be sworn in?
Probably.
Okay.
Since I can't see you, can you come over here? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I just want to add a little bit of clarity to what happens to a project should it change hands or if the project owner goes bankrupt. When we establish a special use permit here at the county level, that special use permit stays with the project. So any conditions that are approved will remain in place even if the owner changes. The decommissioning funds will be in place and are held by the county so that if we need to utilize those, we will be able to do so. It is very common that we see these projects change hands. It is not anything that would surprise us here at the county, but we do make sure that we have our safeguards in place to make sure we are protected should something go wrong in the future. That is all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Kennedy, do you have anything based on that?
Ms. Kennedy, or Ms. Hinkle, excuse me, I have just a few follow-up questions. Are you familiar with the Big Sky Wind project located in Lee County?
Yes.
And at one point in time, Big Sky had a decommissioning bond posted for their project. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that company changed ownership or changed hands. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was at that time considered a triggering event under their financial assurance. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And that allowed the county to draw down on those funds to make sure that that transfer actually took place.
Correct.
Okay. And so is it a fair statement that the county was protected in that instance until it received confirmation that the project had changed hands?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Anybody have any questions of Ms. Henkel based on that? All right, seeing none, it is now later time. Yes, ma'am. Please.
I'm Dr. David Helmich, Hellmich. I'm the recently retired president of Sauk Valley Community College. The college is proud to support the proposed Prairie Brome Solar Project in Lee County and the positive economic and community impact it can bring to our region. Over the past 2 years, we have had the opportunity to build a strong relationship with primarily Ann and Adam. Throughout that time, they have consistently demonstrated that they are thoughtful, community-minded, and collaborative partners. Prairie Brome Solar has not only engaged with the college, but also with the broader community, including partnerships with organizations such as Discover Dixon. The willingness to invest locally and build genuine relationships speaks volumes about the type of partner they are. We are especially grateful that they generously support the SVCC Impact Program, which is helping remove financial barriers for local students pursuing higher education and workforce training opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, ma'am, I think you were going to speak.
So I don't have a lot of questions because you guys answered most of them. But I'm Jen Tarvestad,
Can you please state and sorry, spell your name?
JenTarvestad.
Thank you.
Okay. So I wrote this before most of my questions were answered, but I'm just gonna tell you my feelings because I'm a feeling person. My name's Jen Tarvestad. I'm here tonight as a lifelong Lee County resident and a homeowner directly impacted by the proposed solar farm being built directly across the street from my house. I've lived in Lee County for most of my almost 50 years. I grew up in West Brooklyn, then Scarborough, and for the last 25 years, I've lived with my husband at our current residence. And this county is not just where I live, it's my family's history. My mother grew up here. Her family farmed approximately 8 miles south of where I currently live. My grandparents were can you guys hear me? Sorry. I hate public speaking, like really bad. So,
You're doing a good job so far.
yeah, sure. My grandparents were sharecroppers on a 240-acre farm where they raised 8 children. That farm still had an outhouse until 1986. That's not ancient history. That is the reality of the hardworking farm families who built this county through sacrifice, persistent, and agriculture. That's why this issue is deeply personal to me. It's heartbreaking to watch prime farmland and one of the best agricultural regions in the county become more profitable to lease to solar companies than to actually farm. And that is not a criticism of farmers. In many ways, it reflects the impossible position they've been put in. Farmers face enormous pressure from seed company conglomerates and monopolies, rising equipment costs, increasing processing costs, inflation, taxes, and shrinking profit margins. Many are simply trying to survive and keep their land. And I understand why these leases are tempting, but it's still deeply sad. This country is founded on agriculture. Communities like ours were built on agriculture. Lee County's identity, economy, and landscape were built on agriculture. Yet now it feels like we're becoming more willing to industrialize our best farmland with solar farms, wind farms, and data centers because there is big money and big politics behind them. If approximately 1,800 acres of agricultural land can produce hundreds of thousands of bushels of corn each year, where do we make that up in the future if more and more farmland is converted to solar fields and data centers? Do we become more dependent on importing grain and crops? Do we continue increasing our dependence on foreign markets such as China while reducing our own agricultural production here at home? These are long-term questions that deserve serious consideration. The first time I heard about this solar project was going to be potentially built across the street from my door was when I received that confirmation letter. That's the first time I heard about it. And after receiving that notice, I began contacting agencies because there's a live, active bald eagle nest located within the projected area. As you guys know, I contacted Alice, a Northern Illinois biologist, the DNR, the United States Fish and Wildlife Services, all about my concern about the eagle. And every single person except Alice directed me somewhere else. I got turfed by everyone, and no one could clearly tell me whether the EcoCat review had been completed. I did not have this. I had no information, and no one could reassure me beyond saying the project would comply with the minimum 660-foot federal buffer recommendation. I grew up in the 80s when seeing a bald eagle was rare. Many people in this room probably remember that too. And it's upsetting to me that a project of this scale is being placed so close to an active nest, because I believe there is a very real possibility it will lead to nest abandonment, and it will. You can't construct within eagles. And what is also concerning is that Illinois currently has very limited state level protections specifically protecting the species beyond federal requirements. And then I was especially troubled after receiving a voicemail from a representative with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service who seemed uncertain about what state I was calling from and what day it was when returning my call. That did not inspire confidence that local residents' concerns are being seriously evaluated. I also would like clarification regarding appendix, and I don't want anybody to talk until I'm done. On appendix J of the project summary, on page 9, it says if disturbance or take of eagles cannot be avoided, an incidental take permit may be available to authorize any take that results from, but is not the purpose of, an otherwise lawful activity. I believe the public deserves a clear explanation what that means in practical terms for the bald eagle currently nesting within this project area. Now, regarding the project itself, I have some unanswered questions. You guys answered most of them. But it states that GeneX is the early stage developer, and then it'll be transferred to partners for construction and long-term operations. Who are those partners? What companies are involved? Who exactly will Lee County residents be dealing with long-term? There's also a study in the application discussing glare from the solar panels and the potential impact on pilots of the Rochelle Airport. And according to that report, changing the panel angle by 3 degrees eliminates the concern. According to whose study? A company hired by the applicant? Residents are expected to trust these conclusions, yet many of us have no independent verification available to us. I'm also interested in the findings from the Integra Realty Resources regarding property values. We're being told that these projects do not negatively affect surrounding property values, but many residents strongly disagree with that conclusion. Who here would be willing to pay the same amount for a rural home overlooking industrial solar infrastructure and fencing and inverter stations as they would for open farmland and countryside? There are also concerns about inverter noise. Depending on the source, the sound levels range from 40 to 60 decibels. For some individual, long-term exposure to constant humming, vibration, or industrial noise can absolutely affect quality of life negatively. Who can guarantee that neighboring residents will not experience problems from this? Construction traffic is another concern. The application states there may be up to 250 trips per day during construction. Yet we are told this will not significantly affect the roads or safety. Our road has already changed dramatically over the years because of increased truck traffic from 39 to 251. When I first moved in, I could walk, ride my bike, enjoy living in the country, and that's no longer the case. One neighbor was struck and killed while riding his bike, and we have 3 dogs that have been hit on our road. So when residents are told additional heavy traffic will have minimal impact, it's difficult to accept that statement at face value. I also have concerns about decommissioning and long-term accountability. Who ensures that this project is properly removed decades from now? Who enforces that? Who pays if the companies change ownership, dissolve, or leave? Appendix D states that fencing and concrete foundations will be removed, stockpiled, and prepared for salvage. But prepared for salvage by whom? And where will that material go? It never says, like, who will salvage it? And these are legitimate questions. At the end of the day, I ask the board members to honestly think about this from the perspective of people who actually live there. When you move to the country, do you envision living next to miles of fencing and panel after panel of solar infrastructure? Do you envision hearing a constant industrial hum? Do you envision losing the rural landscape and quiet that brought you there in the first place? This proposal is upsetting on many levels. We work hard, pay extremely high property taxes, maintain our homes, invest our lives in the county, but many residents feel that they have little say in what happens around them. If a resident builds a shed addition late without a permit, they can be fined immediately. Yet massive industrial projects affecting thousands of acres seem to move forward while nearby residents are left searching for answers. Our home is part of our family's legacy. It began as a small 700 square foot tenant home to actually someone who was on that screen that my husband has owned for over 30 years. Over the decades, we've added onto it, improved it, maintained it, and built our lives there. And this is not just property on paper to us. And honestly, it becomes difficult not to ask what is in it for the local residents. Will our taxes go down? Will our electric bills decrease? $50 a month is nothing. We pay $500 a month ComEd bill. Will nearby homeowners be compensated if property values decline? Because many feel the answer is no. And this is not even an Illinois-based company, and the power generated does not even directly benefit Illinois residents. And I truly hope that the local schools and local government receive meaningful benefits, because the people living beside it are the ones expected to carry the burden of the long-term impact. And I've never been more ashamed or disappointed in the direction the state has taken than I have been over the last decade. I've worked hard my entire life, never asked government for assistance, and like many people here, pay thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes every year, expecting our government to protect the interests of citizens who actually live here. Instead, many of us feel ignored while outside corporations profit from our land, our communities, and our quality of life. So maybe instead of continuing to invest in our family's legacy here, we'll eventually have to start thinking about an exit strategy from the state altogether. But that's the exact problem. People have deep roots that are beginning to feel like they no longer matter. And this decision is more than a business deal. It's a decision of what kind of future Lee County wants. It's a decision about agriculture and rural communities, wildlife, property rights, and the people who actually call this place home. And once prime farmland and rural character are gone, they're gone forever. And Appendix L was not in this application for me, so I did not see that any landscaping was going to put in front of these fences.
Ma'am, you had asked a couple of questions. Did you want answers to those? I know you said most of them were answered, but I'd certainly give you that opportunity if you want it. Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything that they would like to state?
My name is Zachary Holycross, ZACHARY-HOLYCROSS. I'm with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, local union 364 out of Rockford, Illinois. This project specifically impacts our workers. It is in our jurisdiction in Lee County, in which we cover its entirety. It supports and creates good paying jobs during the whole life of the construction of the project. And also the tax revenue that will support the community and help develop our community, the parks, the schools, the roads, and all other public entities that are involved. With that being said, that we support the construction of this project.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'll make this short and sweet. I'm Robert Hansen, ROBERTHANSEN. I'm field representative for Labor's Local 727 out of Dixon. I just want to echo Zach's sentiments, and that we support this project fully. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, it's me again, Doug Tarvestad. You want to talk about local folks. My great-grandfather came here from Germany and helped break this prairie soil. They were also, my family was also instrumental in starting the Illinois and Lee County Farm Bureau. We still own that land since we got here in 1858. I am a fourth generation Lee County resident. My children are the fifth. Maybe we should have moved. I don't know, but I like it here. I'm also a board member with the Alto Township And I don't recall any one of you showing up at any meeting or anything. Like my wife said, we had heard whispers and rumors. And then all of a sudden there was people showing up at our door, and then we got a certified letter. And you're like, what the heck? There's been so many, like most of you Lee County residents know, there's been so many solar firms coming, going. We're local, we stay, we do this, we're that, we're in Walnut, we're here, we're sold. The biggest one, Stewart Creek, just got sold not too long ago. It's just, it just goes on and on. I mean, this is like the North Dakota oil rush right now, and our state is allowing it to happen. So, I really can't, all we can do is state the facts, but if our county board votes no, we can get sued just like other counties in the state have. So we have no say because the governor put things into play that we can't. And that's whatever. So basically, and I'm also a union member, work for the state. So I agree with you guys wanting to get some work going, but you're only here for a little while. There's hundreds of farmers not going to be working, buying seed, fertilizer, equipment, local coffee shops, whatever, it just goes on and on. Production is gone. Implement dealers, we're unemploying all these people because of solar. And I still just can't figure out the numbers. How the heck does something that only generates 25 to 30% power be able to afford to pay somebody $2.5 million? And that's just this one. So yeah, the county benefits, the schools benefit. I don't know, we don't benefit. The landowner benefits. And I guess my only appeal would be to the Breitweiser family. Hey, let the eagle fly around. Rent out some of your land to a young up and coming farmer that would like to get his foot in the door. Because I've read everything that you guys put together, and it's crystal clear. Everything is good. It's there. But I live here. I know the wildlife. We watch that eagle fly around, and I recently have driven around. DeKalb County, they're installing solar like gangbusters as well. And this hum, because I can play it for you if you wish from these inverter boxes, and some of them are going to be located around the Breitweiser farm. They just hum. And then I did a study. Well, this is how far away my house would be from these inverter boxes, the setbacks and whatever, and they just hum. And I can play it. 1 second.
We don't need to hear. If
Well, this is probably just for the family,
You'll have
the
an op-
Breitweiser family. I'm appealing to you
if you let me
guys.
finish my
I'm
sentence
appealing
real
to
quick,
you guys to
please. Will you let me
not put
finish
this
my
at in
sentence?
front of our home.
You'll have an opportunity to ask your question in a minute, but we can only have one person speaking at a time to make sure we have a good record, okay? Please continue.
So yeah, there's really nothing we can do, but I've drank beer with these guys. We're local. I like them both. I don't know why. I'm just very sad. You work really hard, you try to do the right things, and then you get this, a humming box out in front of your yard. And yeah, we bought the house from some of the people on the board there. So, nobody else really cares what I have to say. I mean, it's pretty much a done deal, but next time you guys sign up, could you make some concessions for your neighbors and the wildlife? So, and I'd like to thank Alice and the county. It's heartbreaking. So everybody's going to benefit greatly, except for some of us. That's it.
Jen, did you want to ask your question?
Do I have to say my name again?
Please.
Jen
We're doing.
Tarvestead,
Thank you.
TARVESTAD. How far from our property are the inverter boxes?
Donnie DeCastro, I wish I could give you a specific answer. The final layout
Yeah, I can't
doesn't
tell.
happen until you go for building permit. So right now, we have a site plan, but that may very well alter throughout the building permit process. I would like to offer to come and meet with your husband to go through the application at a separate time.
Okay.
Because I appreciate you coming and speaking about something that you're passionate about, because we are here doing the very same thing, speaking about something that we're passionate about.
Right.
And I would love the opportunity to sit down with the two of you and go through some of the things that I hear that you're talking about, because I think that we could bring you some clarity on a lot of the points that you've raised. So if it's okay, I'd love the opportunity after this hearing to schedule some time where we can get together.
Sure. Like,
Okay.
like I said, Appendix L was not in this book that I got. So this picture with the fence and the vegetation was not anything that I saw. And, it's your guys' land. You should do whatever you want. That's fine. I just, grew up in farming, so it's sad to me. And I'm sensitive to noise. I was an ICU nurse for 20 years, and now I'm a nurse practitioner. Sorry. And I don't like beeping. I don't want to hear humming. Oh.
I just want to speak on exhibit or Appendix L. That was large documents, and I apologize, I wasn't in when you stopped to pick it up. So that wasn't with the copy that you got. So I apologize for that.
Any other comments? Ms. Kennedy, do you have a closing statement?
I do. I'll make it brief. Try to anyways. Thank you, Mr. Hearing Officer and everyone else who's here tonight for your time and attention to the evidence that was presented tonight. At the close of this record, the question is whether the Prairie Brome Solar Project satisfies the standards for approval under the Lee County Solar Ordinance, the Illinois County's Code, and the applicable special use permit criteria. Respectfully, the question isn't whether nuclear power is superior or a better alternative. The county's code provides, it's a state statute that authorizes solar in an agricultural district subject to certain standards and conditions. The record clearly demonstrates that the project is in compliance with the Lee County Solar Ordinance and the Illinois County's Code. First, I'll address that the project complies with the Lee County Solar Ordinance. The applicant has submitted a comprehensive application. In these project materials, the application addresses every required component, including the site design, setbacks, visual screening, drainage protection, noise compliance, emergency response coordination, decommissioning, and ongoing operational requirements. I would say somewhat ad nauseum, we've covered that both through the testimony tonight and in the application materials themselves. Second, the project complies with the Illinois County's Code and represents a lawful and appropriate use within the Ag 1 zoning district through the special use permit process specifically contemplated by the county and state law. Third, and most importantly, the project satisfies the hearing factors set forth in the ordinance and positively addresses each one. You saw that through Mr. Samansky's testimony where he went through each one of those hearing factors for consideration. It's my position that the evidence shows that the project will not endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare. It utilizes proven photovoltaic technology with minimal risk and no ongoing emissions or hazardous discharges. It will not be injurious to neighboring properties. The project complies with all setback requirements, provides visual screening options, and adheres to strict noise and lighting standards designed to protect nearby residents. It will not impede the normal development of neighboring properties, which are predominantly agricultural and compatible with this use. Adequate infrastructure, drainage, and public protections have been addressed through the stormwater management plan, agricultural impact mitigation agreement, and coordination with the Lee County engineer and various agencies. I would also like to note that the siting of this project would require no new public infrastructure. Traffic impacts are temporary during construction and minimal during operation. You also heard testimony that the applicant intends to enter into a road use agreement to protect county and township roads. The project is consistent with the county's planning objectives and the framework established by the solar ordinance. Most importantly, these factors that I've gone through are to be evaluated together as a balancing test, not isolated requirements. I ask that you, Mr. Hearing Officer, view those in totality with one another, take them as a whole and look at the record. And I believe that you will find that the record strongly supports approval or at least a positive recommendation to the Lee County Board. Finally, looking beyond strict compliance, the record reflects something that's not required by the ordinance, but I think is something equally important, and that's the applicant's demonstrated commitment to this community. You heard testimony from Ms. Anne Marie Williams to the lengths that the company has gone through, even going back 2.5 years prior to filing their application for special use permit. She testified briefly to the networking and commitments that the applicant has made. Prairie Brome has engaged early, provided detailed and transparent materials, committed to coordination with local officials and emergency responders, and established clear lines of communication and accountability with multiple points of contact at all times. This level of engagement is not incidental whatsoever. I believe it reflects how this project will be constructed, operated, and maintained over its life. For all of these reasons that I've just said, we respectfully request that you recommend approval of this special use permit for the Prairie Brome Solar Project, subject to any reasonable conditions that are consistent with the Illinois Counties Code and the Lee County Solar Ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends the hearing. The next part of this process, as Ms. Kennedy said, is I draft a report that goes to the county board. Only the county board can authorize a special use permit. I am just the conduit of the information from today to the county board, and I will prepare that report. We had a little problem, which is why I had to ask everybody to state their name so many times. So it may take a little bit more time to get the record developed for me to write that report. As soon as I do, Ms. Hinkle will get a copy. If you contact her office, I know she will get you a copy of that report as soon as she gets a copy as well. And with that, this hearing is adjourned. And our next hearing, I apologize, Ms. Hinkle, June 25th.
Thank you.
Thank you.